Morning, folks. So, first things first, I want to express my gratitude to everybody who showed up for my slightly random stream yesterday. Second point of business regarding the stream, because I didn't have a single interruption or issue with the stream yesterday, I've pretty well concluded that excuse me. I've pretty well concluded that the problem is not on my boomer end. In fact, it's most likely the ISP. I may have miscalculated by deciding to set my live stream during the time when I expected everyone to be at home using internet. The reason being the load is too high. So there's simply not enough bandwidth available. Oh, sorry about that. There's simply not enough bandwidth available for me to use. Which, not surprising. I live in a very small town, and there's only so much internet to go around, apparently. I'm researching better times to set my my live stream during. And to that end, because I have a growing audience, I'd like to know what the best time on Sundays would be for you guys. Excuse me. Now, that said, give me the time zones that you're in. And not just the abbreviated, for example, if it was Newfoundland Standard Time, it would be abbreviated NST. Give me the full explanation label of your time zone, because otherwise I'm never going to figure it out, and I don't want to have to web search for the abbreviation meaning without or for half a dozen people, and then try to figure out what the best time is for everyone. If you can give me a range of 2 or 3 hours, that would be even better. But the whole point is to actually speak to the people who want me to speak to them, or who want to hear what I have to say. And while I was hoping I would get some engagement from my own people, I'm not surprised I didn't. So doing it at that hour is simply not feasible, especially when I discover that during the middle of the day seems to be the best time. I would have thought the middle of the day on a weekend would be when everyone was home or was not home doing nothing, which turns out to be true, at least here. But Sunday being the traditional Western day of rest and worship, I guess there's not much point in me worrying about catching different people at different times. Now, I know I have viewers in the UK. I know I have viewers in the Western US and the Eastern US. I would not be surprised if I get the occasional view from Australia. Australia being roughly 10 to 13 hours ahead, depending on the time zone that they're in. So, because of that, and because I'm not getting any engagement here in Newfoundland, it makes no sense for me to continue trying to appeal to the Newfoundland audience, since I'm simply not getting them. Most people are probably online watching movies at that hour anyway. So give me your thoughts. Let me know what time zone works best for you guys. If you haven't seen my ginger erasure video, please give that a look. And I think what I'm probably going to start doing is maybe limit the amount of time that I spend sitting in that chair, because I'm finding that it's making me more sedentary than I want to be, and other work is starting to pile up, which I don't want to have happen. I have some projects I have to do out here, and usually I need to be a bit flexible about the weather. Today is a good day, so I am going to do some work in the shed. The reason I have to be careful with the weather is because some of the stuff I'm doing requires as much humidity control as possible. This tub behind me is actually full of antique chair parts. They're all wrapped in plastic to keep their humidity roughly under control so that there's not a lot of warping. Currently, most of them are bare wood, and bare wood will warp rather rapidly in the Newfoundland humidity. It's currently 20 degrees outside, slightly overcast, and already fairly humid. It's Newfoundland summer. So what I'm going to do is probably spend most of the day cleaning chair parts out here in the shed, so getting sweaty and dirty. I won't be doing a live stream tonight because I did one yesterday, so sorry to disappoint. But also, the ginger erasure topic was, I think, covered very thoroughly, and I really do, again, want to stress how appreciative I am of everybody who popped into chat to talk about it, because I mean, we kind of have to. It's not just the gingers, right? I mean, there's obviously an anti-white drive in the diversity, inclusion, and equity crowd, you know, because anti-white and diversity are essentially synonymous, which is total bullshit, but what are you going to do? So yeah, that's that bit of channel business out of the way. What else is going on? I'm still finding my voice isn't great during most of the week. It may be something to do with COVID, it may be something to do with my smoking, it may be something to do with my woodworking. It may be a combination of all. And then the stress on my voice of being online fairly often on chats and others' live streams probably isn't helping. So there are some videos that I want to do that I haven't been able to get time to do. There's the Sultans Fitness Challenge, which I'm fairly sure I'm already failing. But I was never that invested in anyway. Which doesn't mean I'm giving up on the challenge. It means that I'm going to find different ways to participate. Oh, perfect. I just realized something I can use for a weight. I do a static pose calisthenic thing that I picked up from pop culture years ago, which, if you can, it's kind of hard to see through the shirt, but, well, hang on. You can see that there's definition in my shoulder here. That's from basically a static cross pose, where really all I'm doing is holding my arms out. Generally I use some sort of weight. I just discovered that there's some table legs there I can use. And it's simply holding your arms out like that as long as possible. And the thing with that is, and I didn't realize this till I was demonstrating it for someone else, you feel that right across your chest, but also because you're holding a weight and you're forcing yourself to stay not exactly rigid, but steady, you also end up engaging your core. Now, generally, I'll do this exercise for, well, till failure, basically. And generally, it's till second failure. So fail once, take a rest, work the muscles till they warm back up or loosen back up, and then do it again until failure. In the past, I've done it with pieces of chain, which ended up, I believe I was up to about 10 to 15 minutes before failure the first time. Generally, second failure comes rather rapidly, 3 to 5 minutes at that point. I suspect if once I start doing it again, I will probably only get a very few minutes before failure the first time, so maybe 3 to 5. It's been a long time since I was doing regular exercise, which, if you've ever seen me stand up on camera, is quite clear. And, you know, this doesn't help. And a significant portion of this is actually skin that's expanded and shrunk over the years and ended up becoming loose. One of the joys of thyroid disease is that you can rapidly gain and lose weight when your metabolism changes even slightly. At least in my experience. Other than that, I'm doing a little bit of crafting and currently running a bit of a puzzler on Discord. Someone just attempted an answer to the question, I think, or went hint seeking. But I'm, if you're on Discord, you're already probably aware that I posted an image of a tool. It's a kitchen tool, and more like than not, I expect the English diaspora to get it. A Newfoundlander would have had it immediately. But more likely than not, I expect the English diaspora crowd to get it. And that is very much because there's a cultural, a culinary cultural component to the puzzle. I don't want to say any more because I don't want to give it away. Let me see. What else do I have going on in the shed? Nothing really. I am slowly being bullied by my Discord friends into upping my YouTube game. So I'm going to be trying to use various templates and things to liven up my thumbnails. I'm also planning to get a different layout for my studio. The positioning of a few different things that I'm using is a little clumsy and, to be honest, cobbled together. Excuse me. Just a second. Sorry about that. One of the things that woodworkers end up with is an issue with our breath and talking and coughing a lot. Every trade has its trade-offs. You know, electricians risk getting zapped. Woodworkers risk lung damage, which really isn't good for a guy who wants to make part of his living from talking. But what else? Anyway, yeah, I have a few projects to do out in the shed. I've got some craft projects that I'm working on. I can actually show you a piece of one. This is a piece of juniper. And I harvested that about 2 years ago. And juniper is classified as a softwood. This isn't soft. This is extremely hard. And I'm thinking the reason it's so hard, that would actually make gorgeous wind chimes if I chord it out. Anyway, the reason that it's so hard, I think, is because it's absorbed a lot of salt from the air. It's not uncommon. Where I am, I'm probably Uh, most of a kilometer, probably, from the water. But even here, and there's a hill in between me and the water. But even where I am, it's not unusual to, in a good wind, go outside and be able to taste the salt spray. Literally. Uh, if it's, say, foggy and blowing hard. It's not unusual to taste the salt spray. That tree that I harvested that from is even further from the water, though it has a much more, the terrain is much more uh, conducive to it being hit by salt spray. So what I expect is that the wood's actually salt impregnated. It is so hard that I'm having to cut it with a hacksaw, and I really wish I had managed to get a staff length this size, uh, because uh, I'm reasonably sure I could bludgeon a bear to death with this thing. A cooperative bear. But the as I was saying, the wood is so hard that it's actually eating my tools. Uh, some of the planes and things that I've used on it have been dulled within a few minutes. And I'm definitely going to have to spend some time sharpening my tools. One of the things I'm going to have to get in that case is going to be a bench grinder. And I'm going to have to anchor a bench to the wall and the floor to actually use it, which is going to be fun. Other than that, I don't think there's a heck of a lot going on that I need to talk about. I've got a couple of small projects planned. That craft piece that I was talking about, for one. A Dresden Files accorded neutral territory sign. I want to do a, I guess, a tribute replica to Max Barr. And I think that sign is a good start. The plan is to, I'm going to try making two, which means my engraving skills will have to be stepped up. But one will be, I suppose, pristine. The other will be burned. There's a scene in one of the Harry Dresden books, the name of which escapes me now, but it's one of the later ones, where there's a fight in the bar and the sign ends up scorched. And I did do a little bit of a test. Excuse me. I did do a little bit of a test build of one of those and did some burn, and it came out very, very nice. Other than that, I don't think I've got a lot else going on. Anyway, I'm up to about 18 and a half minutes and just rambled for most of it, so par for the course, obviously. Other than that, not a lot going on. No stream tonight. I will be doing daily videos all week, and once I figure out exactly where I'm going to schedule my new stream time, which will remain fairly ambiguous on time, I'm going to aim for a minimum of a half hour every time anyway. And then usually the AMA chat section, which, by the way, one of the things I do love is conversation, and I absolutely enjoy conversing. Yeah, I like sneakering. One of the things I do absolutely enjoy is conversing with people in chat and just talking. It's one of the things that Newfoundlanders are known for, being very good with conversation, talk. To say that we've been given the gift of gab is not necessarily wrong. In any case, I'm coming up on 20 minutes. These things take too long to upload as it is, so I will end here, and hopefully you guys are having a good day and continue to have good days. Rise and rise again. until lambs become lions.